Hey there, this is Wythe Marshall from the Stillfleet Studio. We put together a little podcast called Why We Roll, and now we're very proud to be part of the network Podderation. So if you're listening to one of Podderation's other great shows and you're interested in TTRPGs specifically, that's tabletop role-playing games, you might be interested in our show. Why We Roll is all about how you make TTRPGs, what makes them fun, different kinds of stories you can tell with TTRPGs, and even the business, so the practical advice side. So if any of that sounds appealing, whether you're a GM, you want to design your homebrew game, or you're interested in getting in the industry, why don't you head over to Why We Roll, check us out. We really, really appreciate it, and keep making awesome stuff.
Podcast where everyone is welcome to the table, but of course, as always, you know it, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
And this is Anthony.
And this is episode 566, Top 10 Games Saved by One Brilliant Mechanic. We like to thank all our Patreon backers for helping us bring you a brand new episode. Hey friends, welcome back. Hopefully you're having a great time, and we're really getting started on some excellent tabletop games that we're getting to the table. The weather's getting a little bit better, but now is the time to get some games down, Anthony.
Yeah, I love that. The weather's getting a little bit better. Someone listens to that in isolation. They're like, oh, it's getting nicer. I'm like, well, you know, it's all relative.
It's all relative.
It's like wind chill here on Saturday. It was like negative 21.
It's true.
Like stupid wind.
It makes it easier for you to get along, get together, play some games, and not go outside.
That is true, because there's literally nothing else you can do. Like, I had to go get the kids pizza on Saturday, and I was like, I'm going to die. It's 2 blocks away, and I'm going to die.
I wonder, in fact, if there is anybody out there who actually is such a big tabletop fan, whether it's roleplay games, CCGs, table board games, that they're just like, I need to move to a place where the weather is conducive for tabletop gaming more times than not.
100% there are. 100%. Okay. Yeah, like, because you always hear like Minnesota's like the heart of tabletop gaming, right?
Sure.
It's way colder there than it is here.
But do you actually, like, if you're a huge tabletop fan, are you then moving to Minnesota? I don't know right now.
Well, yeah, not right now, but honestly, I've had that thought before, and I'm like, I might like Minnesota. It seems like a nice place to live.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, because you get used to the cold. You buy all the things you need.
It's true.
The houses are outfitted in a way where everything's not going to freeze.
It's true.
Like pipe stores last weekend, I'm still grumpy.
I guess, like, if the job is solid, obviously you have your family or you're going solo.
Yeah.
And then, like, the, grocery stores, doctor, and then you're just like, well, this is what I do to socialize. This is my thing.
Yeah, and we know now that the people of Minnesota are awesome. So
they are awesome.
Yeah, literally single-handedly taking on the government.
So. Yeah, I love that game. Wait, that's not a game.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I wish it was just a game, but
sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you do find the place that has all the people playing the tabletop games, please let us know, because Anthony and I would love to move there so we can get more games to the table.
Yes. Yeah. I will say, though, stuck inside all weekend with the kids. Some gaming was part of it. Nothing new, just, stuff that the kids like. But what else are we going to do, right? You watch TV.
It's true.
Eventually get bored.
Oh, that was another thing. We did a super early crazy prediction way back when. I mean, we predicted the Super Bowl, Anthony.
Did we?
We did. That was part of our predictions. It was off mic, but we both said Seattle long before they got to the playoffs. Well, they got to the playoffs, and we were like, yeah, they're going to win.
Oh, yeah. Once they got to the playoffs, for sure. The team was so, like, I didn't see a lot of their games. I'm from Seattle original, obviously. And I didn't get to see nearly as many of their games as I would like, because I live in Philly, and they assume nobody in Philly wants to watch Seattle play.
It's West Coast, man.
Which I guess. Um, East Coast bias,
Yes.
in sports. But once I'd seen a couple games, and especially at the end of the season, saw a few games because they were important. I was like, wait a second, that defense is way too good.
That's
So
true.
once they made the playoffs, I'm like, oh yeah, they got to run.
It was a weak playoff season in the NFL.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what was it, like a week, 2 weeks ago? Where like whoever wins the game between Seattle and the Rams is going to win the Super Bowl because who cares about the AFC?
The AFC was really weak this year. Bills fell down much earlier than usual, which was kind of
Yeah,
sad for me. And yeah, no, the AFC was kind of weak, and even the NFC. I mean, Philadelphia didn't even make the playoffs, right? If I
they
believe so.
did, but they lost
Oh, okay.
immediately. Yeah.
That's how quick they got knocked out.
Nah, Philly was bad this year.
Giants were bad. Yeah.
Well, Giants, Giants
Yeah.
are terrible.
Dallas. Yeah.
No, yeah, the playoff field on the NFC side was okay, but it was mostly the NFC West. It was like 3 teams out of the West,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Bears and the Packers.
Oh, the Bears and Packers were fun to watch this year.
Yeah, they were both good, and they both almost made it. But I still don't think there was only one team in the playoffs that I feel like could have beaten Seattle, and it was the Rams, and they did almost beat them a couple times, and it just wasn't enough. So
yeah, Detroit was fun too.
Detroit, yeah,
Yeah, good coach there. All right, well, yeah, we made some inquiries and we made some predictions, and everything came out. And Anthony and I are much richer for it, right? We did you did put the bet in, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Phew.
Yeah. Checks in the mail, man. Checks in the mail.
Thank goodness. Woof. And good timing too, because Magic the Gathering, who we again another prediction that I had made not too long ago, having some corporate shenanigans continues, Anthony, to do some corporate shenanigans, and in particular, about a week ago, Magic the Gathering, their newest product, that went out on their Secret Lair. I know you're a big fan of Secret Lair, all that kind of fun stuff happening there. They released 4 cards, new printing that was going out there. Nothing special about the cards necessarily. The interesting thing is that the way they price these cards, they started at $10 and went all the way up about $5 or $10 each, up to $50. So if you wanted these cards, again, nothing really incredibly special, but they are part of the Secret Lair and such. If you got there early enough, you could have got them for $10 for a card. These are 4 cards. Or if you got there a little bit later, the price jumped, and then obviously you had to pay $50 for these cards.
Yeah.
So people are kind of mad because why are you trying to do that, man? Like, let's just buy cards.
Yeah, you combine that too with there was recently a post on Gizmodo talking about how in a live stream recently, they basically came out and said like, oh, we used to do print on demand for these, but we stopped doing that because it's hard. And now we just do it based on a limited print run, which sells out like that. And if you combine that with like scaled and surge pricing, then it's really just Wizards of the Coast being like looking at eBay and being like, man, people make a lot of money off our cards. What if we made that money off our cards? And it's the infinite growth monster striking again. And Hasbro saying, I know these cards bring in like $1 billion. Can you make it $2 billion?
They found a way, and somehow people bought them.
People will keep buying them. We all complain, but I don't know. I mean, sales have been down
about it.
Yeah. I mean, sales have been down. Like, I know the Final Fantasy set like exploded last year. It was their biggest set ever. But then the Spider-Man set like really seemed to annoy a lot of people, and it did not do great. And those cards are kind of everywhere. They're easy to find.
Yeah.
And then now like the Ninja Turtle set seems to also just be like already deeply discounted.
Yeah.
That's like the newest set. So I don't know if they're overprinting. I don't know if there's like quality issues. I know some of the stuff with like the Spider-Man set was like some of those cards just were terrible. They're like hot dog cart. Cool. Yeah, I would love a hot dog cart card.
No one expects the hot dog cart.
Yeah. I wonder what happens when we set our mystical fantasy game in New York City. We run out of locations pretty fast that are interesting. True. Hot dog cart. So I don't know. But it's infinite growth. They got to make more money. They're going to run out of IPs. They're going to run out of ideas. They're going to run out of ways to milk everybody. But it'll be interesting to watch as someone who's not invested in the company or in the cards necessarily.
Sure.
But for those who play, I do feel for you.
It's hard because obviously the company needs to make money because shareholders, they just want more money.
Yeah.
Because they're shareholders.
Yep.
But again, we've talked about this before. It is a very carefully prescribed dance, or like, I don't even know like what magical forces or situation that they must go through, because as you're pulling, and as you're pulling in such different ways, and some of these ways are a little more problematic than others, and they cause the community to stretch and get angry and twisted, you hurt the community, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, again, it's somewhat unprecedented. That's why it's so hard to talk about here, because again, like you said, they're just trying to make more money,
Yeah.
but they were
Yeah.
already making money. This is just more of the money, but again, it comes at a significant creative and community cost,
Yeah.
which will cause them to lose money long term, or burn people out, or annoy people, or
Yeah.
blow up, make a bubble, right?
But like the way publicly traded corporate IP works, nobody cares, right? Like
Yeah.
next year's problem, who cares? I care about next quarter. How do I make more money now for next quarter? Well, this will do that. In 3 years, that's going to blow up on our faces, but maybe I won't be in charge then. I don't care.
Well, it's hard too, because like you and I, like for example, Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
There's so many Star Wars products out there, from like the junkiest things in the world to like a can of beans, right? Like, or a breakfast cereal, or like up to like these amazing statuettes and things like that nature. Like,
Yeah.
on one hand, it's good because anyone could afford them, right? Any number of Funkos or whatever it might be. But also, it's so diluted, nothing
Yeah.
special. So you get
Yeah.
to,
No, it's too much.
yeah, you purchase this big thing and it's got all these things to it. It's amazing, and it's just like, it's just one of like 3 million other things that came out this year.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, because before, collectability came because it was rare, it was special, it was unique, it had some quality to it, and now it's just like, it's just, I really am concerned, and wonder if this does not bring down Magic the Gathering at some level, because it loses some of its special uniqueness. And again, there's been endless numbers of CCGs out there that failed for so many other reasons.
Yeah.
So I would hate to see that happen with Magic there.
I feel like Magic or Pokemon, if either of those games fail, the whole thing comes crashing down because
Sure.
it's such a huge chunk. Like those two together must be 80% of the market. Like what happens if either of them goes away? People are like, "Oh, this is not actually a viable investment strategy. This is not actually a viable industry. Let's wash my hands of all of it." And then, bleh. Like the comic industry, bleh,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's also, I mean, a lot of what hope, a lot of what they're kind of counting on is the secondary market and the value of these cards.
Right.
But somewhere there's a magical formula or algorithm, or I don't know, string of fate, where at some point you stretch it so much that it just breaks, right? Like
Yeah.
it becomes no longer fun. Or, and then if once it doesn't become fun to that core community, then the price just does not matter anymore. It's like Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
You're holding up most friendly local game stores. Don't do that.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I think, again, go back to Pokemon cards. My kids both used to love them. They would play with them. We did stuff with them all the time. They both stopped being interested at a certain point because you couldn't find them anywhere.
Sure.
Because a bunch of middle-aged men would rush into Walmart and Target and buy them all.
I've seen so many videos of that.
Yeah, so like, but then you've kind of whittled down and ruined the accessibility of the game to the kids who play it.
Sure.
And so like, okay, so it's only for collectors now. Can that sustain the game? Like, do these cards still maintain value if no one ever actually uses them?
That's such a good question.
Like, and people still play Pokemon, sure, but not. I don't know how kids
like
can really do it, because it's just not. Those things aren't there.
Well, even for Magic the Gathering, what the stores go through to get, I don't know, what would it be, Anthony? Is it licensed, accredited?
Yeah, whatever that's called. But yeah, like
they have to have like there's certain levels of like competition that they can participate in, and like they have to jump through a lot of hoops to become an official Magic the Gathering dealer and player and organized play and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's not easy. It's costly. They have to have judges. There's a whole bunch of different things that goes into it. So yeah, if you lose the fan base, does the price still stay what it is? Because you and I probably have somewhere in our attics like CCGs from a time long ago called the 90s, where they just like made a CCG of literally everything out there in the world.
Oh yeah, I had like a nearly complete collection of like the old Star Wars Decipher CCG that I held on to for like 20 years until like a friend was like, "I'm collecting those." I'm like, "Cool, you can have these. I don't need them anymore."
Yeah.
But and the funny thing is those they do like they go up and down in value. Sometimes they're worth nothing, and sometimes the nostalgia kicks and they're worth a ton. But that's all it is. It's the value is tied up in people's nostalgia then, not actually the viability or value of the card. So
It's true.
I don't know. There's a
Well,
bubble there for sure.
There's a bubble. We've been talking about it. We've been predicting it. So we're just trying to stay away from that prediction. Hopefully they pull out before it gets any worse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of, I guess, challenges and problems and complications in the industry, we talked about this last week. That was the whole other thing. Turns out this week there's another thing. And on behalf of Anthony and I, we would like you to stop doing things in the industry that we have to talk about, because
everybody be good.
Could you just be good for 5 minutes? We want to talk about tabletop games.
Not all the bad things people are doing in the industry around tabletop games.
So another thing happened. It's Anthony. Do you want to talk about this? Because I think you probably have a better sense of the legal mumbo jumbo around what somebody might be doing.
Yeah. So okay. So we'll just at a high level here, because this was put out there and there's a lot of really specific detail. And if you really want to know exactly what's going on, you should probably go read what Rodney Smith posted and or the video that he posted. But at a high level, watch it played. Yep. So a document was put out there by Rodney Smith from Watch It Played, and detailing an issue with one of the people that was part of his channel, right?
Yes.
He has a lot of people. He had guest people on who would come produce content for him. So they all had access to each other's YouTube channel data and all that good stuff. They were partners. And it came to his attention that on Game Night Picks, this other channel, that a tool was being used to kind of purchase new subscribers, right? Which by itself is legal. There's a tool in YouTube. You can pay money and then it increases your subscribers by advertising the channel. However, what made it sketchy was that this Game Night Picks was running ads on their videos that were based on the number of views that those videos got. And so they did not communicate to publishers who were paying for those ads that, hey, the volume's going to go up. And also, just so you know, the volume, the quality of that is terrible because we're purchasing that traffic, right? And the data supported that. And the result of which is Rodney Smith discovered this, tried to get it fixed, then cut ties with the other person, and then ultimately came out and told everybody, because his perception of this is unethical, also maybe illegal, and certainly bordering on fraudulent. I don't want to be associated with this. I don't want people to think I was associated with this, because this is my brand, this is my livelihood, this is what I've been doing for half of my adult life. And now there's this whole thing around Game Night Picks. What were they doing? Why were they doing it? Why did they refuse to change? As of us recording this, they have not put out a statement of their own. So we don't know what their defense of all this behavior is. But yeah, the bottom line is it's sketchy, and it's a little inside baseball from like the media side, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't really affect like gamers out there. But at the same time, it's it's disingenuous to do what they're doing in the first place. Now there are tools out there that you can pay for traffic, you can pay for subscribers, and the fact that YouTube offers advertising tools that basically do that, again, it's not illegal, it's not really even unethical as long as you're doing it responsibly. But the volume at which it was being done, it was increasing the number of subscribers, like what did they say, like 1,000 a day or something crazy like that. And that those were not people who were engaging with the content. So all of a sudden, the average drop-off point in the video was 3 minutes in, which was before the ads would even play.
Sure.
So these people were now paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars for ads that nobody was seeing.
Sure.
And the contention is, yeah, they know what they're doing, and they're allowing this to happen. And maybe we'll discount the ads a little, but not nearly that much. So, a lot of sketchiness going on there, and there seems to potentially be some legal wranglings around there as well. So we won't get into that because we're not lawyers, but it's don't do that, I guess, is the bottom line. Don't defraud your advertisers.
It's something that needs to be said, just because so many of us as gamers out there are relying on reviewers, publishers, designers, and commentators out there to help us direct us to purchasing certain games.
Mhm.
And for us as reviewers, the reason why we may get a review copy or not get a review copy is because of analytics, again, that are oddly defined and very nebulous depending on the particular platform that they
Mhm.
might be on. So you as the consumer, or you as the watcher, the viewer, you as the fan of any particular person, you should be aware sometimes that the numbers on their channels, the games that they get, might not come through the most ethical means possible. And in the tabletop industry, it's challenging to know in a lot of cases because it's still a very young uh media format in a lot of ways. And obviously it has been flooded with so many influencers and markets and paid this, that, and the other, paid previews. And you see a lot of stuff on the crowdfunding. It's like, oh, these people review games. They're just like, oh no, they were paid by the publisher to market a particular product, whether or not they actually liked it. So it's, sadly, it's a warning for everybody out there to think and be very deliberate and take every review with a big grain of salt. And hopefully, I think those things need to be said. And I think it's good that Rodney said those, because I think we owe it to our fellow gamers, because all of us are gamers. We're not some outside industry group or media company that like talks about a product and then doesn't use it, or doesn't use it with others. Like, you will never sit at the table with us and, play a game that we said we liked and it turns out we didn't like it. We were getting paid for that.
Right.
We don't take money for reviews. We don't take money for previews. We don't take money from publishers or designers for that sake, because we want you to know that everything on our channel is completely ethical and on the up and up to the top ethical quality of media publication we can do. Because it's important to us that, it's important to you. And we really appreciate that you listen and you look for us. And, our YouTube channel is just there to catch the people who, for whatever reason, like to listen on YouTube. It's not our main channel. Podcasts don't really get numbers out there like YouTube does, right, Anthony? That's a different thing altogether for some reason.
Yeah, we don't. So we've done a handful of video podcasts in the past, but we don't do them regularly. So our channel is 90% just our voices with a picture.
But they're lovely voices.
They are lovely voices, and if you like to do that on YouTube, you can. And we would appreciate it if you do.
Yes.
Yeah, do that.
You can like and subscribe. And actually, you may be the person liking and subscribing and listening on YouTube right now, but our numbers are much, much larger as a podcast.
Yeah.
And that
our primary channel for sure.
Yeah, and that doesn't get broadcast. So if you're looking at YouTube and you're like, hey, that's only the people who listen. Like, nope, there's several thousands more that listen. And we're so glad that you do. And again, that's why we do the most ethical presentation of fun and games at the table as possible, because so many people in the industry do not.
Right.
And that's really sad. And they should feel sad for doing that. And there's others out there that we don't know about. We'll find someday. I don't know. It's a thing, Anthony. Sadly, it's a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what? What's not a thing, Anthony? Roll for some reviews, man.
Okay.
That is a thing.
That's a thing. Different kind of thing.
Yeah, and we'll let you know if those games are a buy, because we really like them and we think you should buy them. And it's not because we're getting paid for them. If those games are a play, and you should sit down and enjoy them because we enjoy them, and you should sit down and play them. If those games are a dodge, and you should avoid them because, you know what? You should avoid them. Or if those games are the dreaded burn, you should burn them because, yeah, it's cold outside and the game should be useful on some level, I guess. So, Anthony, I played a game It's called Tea Garden by Capstone Games, and we received a review copy. See, I did the thing, Anthony. I talked about it. And Capstone has been producing a lot of really interesting Euros lately. And this is from a friend of yours, Anthony, a little man, Tomas Holek.
Oh, he's back.
He's back again 2 days in a row.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
Let me make this
did the SETI thing.
Big sprawling game about SETI and extraterrestrial life and going out and finding aliens, and then like I'll make one about aquarium. This little tea garden. I don't know. I mean, all power, like make the games you want to make, but it's just like a weird mix.
He also did the Pondscape game,
right?
Which is
frogs,
about frogs.
Too. Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe he's connecting with the outer space intelligence, and they're like, "Dude, you need to make these games." just do this thing. He's like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit at all. He's like, no, just make them. It's fine. You're like, all right. No, it's an odd mix of games, and I got to play Tea Garden, which is kind of interesting because it's, again, the game itself obviously is all about a tea garden, and it's got really interesting, nice, cool, quaint, peaceful artwork on the cover. And the game itself also has this same kind of mystical, just beautiful kind of like just the way the colors are kind of on the board and how the clouds are interacting. It really feels otherworldly, but it is really a very down-to-earth game. Now, Anthony, why this is interesting is it, again, just like Aquarium, it employs a bunch of different tabletop game mechanics that we have seen from so many other games before. First and foremost, you are going to have a hand of cards. These cards are action cards. They're multi-use cards. They're going to have a power on the card in the top left, particular number power. They're also going to have a special ability, and they're going to have a cost in order to purchase these cards. That's going to be your primary action mode. Think, I guess probably the closest one I can think off the top of my head is probably Concordia, where those action cards, you're able to kind of play them to do different things on the board. And there are a couple of different things to do. So one of the things you could do with them, obviously, is you can play cards to purchase other cards. So this is one of the challenges about this game right from the start, because the cards that you start with, you start with a small deck, you play 4 cards. Now, these cards, you're allowed to play these cards into your particular tableau to take their actions. But what you can also do is stack the cards on top of themselves in order to gain a higher number that's going to let you do stronger actions on the board. But obviously, you're now sacrificing the middle action on the particular card. So purchasing other cards are going to allow you to get more powerful cards into your particular hand. And that's going to be important because obviously, just like Concordia, the more cards that you build into your hand and the more powerful they are, they'll let you do a number of different actions instead of just being able to do that one action. They'll sometimes let you do 2 actions or 2 different types of actions. So you are playing these cards to actually purchase cards from the market that go into your immediate hand, and I really like this. So you'll be able to like play another action on the board. This is really important. I really wish the game would really say this in black and white, because there's so many other things to do on the actual board itself that you could find yourself in a situation where you're not purchasing cards early. And if you don't purchase cards early, you have limited number of actions in the game. Because like I said, there's going to be times where you're going to want to purchase cards, that need extra power. So as you're stacking, that's your one action or your 1 or 2 actions in the game. And that's kind of a problem because typically you could take 3 actions or pay for a 4th action. And if you don't have enough cards or enough powerful cards, it's going to be pretty limited. Now, beyond that, let's talk about the actual main kind of actions that you're going to get yourself involved in. So the main board has a number of different tea fields, and it has a little river running through it that goes up to the university, which is a little bit of a rondel. Then it has another track, which is the Emperor's track, which you are going to provide the Emperor with by giving him tokens. He's going to allow you to move up the track. The university kind of little rondel is going to allow you to move your scholars around and take special abilities there as well. So there's a couple of things to take a look at. Obviously, the river also has its own track. So you have a rondel track in the university, an Emperor's track, which you're running up, and a river track. And then the different areas for the tea, you're going to actually build into those particular tea gardens. By putting your buildings there, you could get an opportunity to get a special action. But primarily what you're doing is you're taking tea from the fields that you're going to be able to ferment or keep in your tea baskets to purchase other things on the board. All this time that you're doing this, you're collecting tea that you can also sell to caravans. So you can actually be able to sell that tea to also get victory points and tokens throughout the game. So there's a bunch of different tracks and a bunch of different activities that you want to take a look at. The production is top notch. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of an older medium weight Euro game where basically that kind of card mechanic is driving the action. But then what you do afterwards is completely up to you. Certainly purchasing cards, but beyond purchasing cards, you're really going to want to focus on one of the particular tracks, whether it's the river track, the university track, or the Emperor's track. And obviously you're going to be putting out your own little buildings onto the board so that you'll be able to gain more tea. So more tea and more cards give you more actions to be able to play on the board. And then getting pots and a couple of other aspects of the game will score you victory points throughout the game. But primarily throughout the game, and again, it starts very quick because, again, you have limited cards, but as the game goes on, it'll lengthen a little bit long. It takes about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours to play, again, depending on your own particular AP. But again, it's not really a heavy game. It's kind of a medium weight Euro game. Now, again, a bunch of mechanics, a good theme. I would say somewhat thematic. I really felt like everything kind of gelled a little bit. I would like to see more to this game because I do feel like the tracks were a little difficult to run down, and I would like to be able to do all the tracks instead of like kind of focusing on one or two particular areas or aspects of the game. And I think that the cards in the beginning are very hard to purchase because of your limited hand that you're able to get at the very beginning. So it has all the things. It definitely needs an expansion to really open up the game a little bit more, give you some more fluid actions, give you some more powerful cards to play, maybe open those tracks up a little bit. But unlike Aquarium, Tea Garden kind of works, and I enjoyed my play of it. So I'm going to give Tea Garden a play.
That's great. Yay. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that because I didn't love Galileo. You didn't love Aquaria. I'm like, come on, let's give me a good one.
Yeah, this kind of works. It is, when you play as Anthony, you'd be like, I've kind of played this before.
Sure.
Like, again, it's got that kind of medium weight Euro game that we used to play a lot of that were just like, oh, it's another medium weight Euro. Oh, it's another medium weight Euro. Nothing dramatically special about it because you've played all these different mechanics before, but it looks very nice on the board. All the tracks are kind of interesting, and the card play is kind of fun. So, it definitely it comes together better than Aquaria, which was like a bunch of mechanics that were good but kind of like disconnected. These mechanics, again, seen them before, but they do come together a little bit better. So if you get a chance, play it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, Anthony. So that's what we played this week. Now on to our preview. What are you looking to get to the table?
All right. So there was a little game like many years ago that I stumbled across at Origins. You were not there. I think you'd gone home for the weekend.
Rude.
I know. And so I was there by myself, just wandering around. It was like the same weekend that I found Teotihuacan. And this one was just like, no one's standing there. I'll give it a demo because that's how those things go, right? I don't want to wait in a line. Hey, this is free. And the game was called Rurik, Dawn of Kiev. It says designed by Stan Kordunski, I think it's how you say his name. and it was like it was a cute looking game, not a cute looking game, but like it had that vibe of like this is a game that they've made, they've gotten published, they've invested their time and money into. It's not a big publisher. It's crowdfunded, and since then Kordonsky has gone on and done like Dice Hospital, or I guess Dice Hospital was before this, but Endless Winter was like the big one, that like kind of broke out. Minos Dawn of the Bronze Age last year. So they've gone back now. They've partnered up with Fantasia Games, and Fantasia Games should be familiar because they did Unconscious Mind. Huh?
Oh,
you know them.
That's a cute game. That's a cute game.
And then also the upcoming Colosseum, the Grand Spectacle. Right?
That could be a cute game.
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of getting on this train of, they started off with like an original game, and now they're getting on the train of like bringing in second editions, third editions of known quantities. And so Rurik, second edition, is going up on GameFound. Well, it'll be up by the time you listen to this. It went up yesterday. And it is a reimplementation of Rurik, which is a great game. So Rurik itself it's got like this action programming element to it. It's Euro style, realm building type thing. So it has area control elements to it. You're moving different guys around this map. And you have this auction programming element where you're bidding for actions with your advisors. So if you spend a stronger advisor, you get greater benefits and a stronger action. However, weaker advisors, less stuff. So how much you get to do, when you get to do it, is based on this auction element. So it's always changing, and it brings a ton of like interactivity to the game. When then the rest of the mechanics are very Euro, right? So you're doing Euro stuff, but with like this very interactive, combative, like action selection mechanic. So we have that, and now they're revamping everything around it. So like the artwork for the first edition was perfectly fine. It's very historical. So it's kind of this like it takes place in the 11th century, and it's about Ukraine and like the ancient history of the kingdom that was there, Kievan Rus. So that was an interesting theme, an interesting background. That's where Kodonsky's from, so it makes sense to kind of build on that. And so now we have that. The second edition is still that, with like beautiful new art, like ridiculous new artwork, like such a level up in terms of what it looks like. Like if you've seen Unconscious Mind, like the level of quality of art that Fantasia Games is putting into their stuff. And then you have like this double-sided board now, with multiple different layouts. The miniatures for the characters are much more developed. Those existed in the first edition, but now that we have a lot more that comes out of that. You have various other upgrades, and then they have this expansion, the Myths and Fables expansion, which makes this more fantastical. So you have like these monsters now that have different mechanics that change the flow of the game. So think about all of our classic dudes on a map Euros, with monsters out there. So we get like Kosuke and Baba Yaga and Leshy, kind of tapping into that Eastern European background. There's also the Stone and Blade expansion, which looks very cool with like new structures and stuff on the map. So anywho, Rurik, a very unique kind of action auction mechanism, area control style Euro game. Really enjoyed it quite a bit back in the day. Surprisingly robust and effective solo mode, considering like the mechanics that are in there with like an auction and area control components. Worked really well. And second edition looking cool. So they don't, basically what I've told you is what's on the preview page. The full campaign goes up here, tomorrow for us. But I have my eye on this one because I do like the game. I no longer have a copy of it, and I wouldn't mind having it again, depending on how big the box is. If it's too big, I'm out. But if it's a reasonable size box, yeah, if it's a reasonable size box, maybe I'm in.
That's adorable.
I
that
know.
Would be reasonable size.
I know. I hope so. The thing is, the original version of the game, you had your hero, your leader miniatures, right? Those are important. And then you had all the other pieces. And so you had troops that were plastic, but then a lot of other stuff was wood. So it was like a mix of plastic and wood. So like the structures and
Sure.
some of the workers that you put out on the map, those are all meeples, those are wood, and it kept the cost of the game down. But then you also had like your warriors and stuff, and those are plastic. But they were like, pretty cheap plastic. So I don't know what this is going to cost because it can have a lot of plastic in the box, and it does look like they've upgraded the sculpts quite a bit. But it looks cool. I think it looks cool. So
It does look cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
It's interesting because once upon a time, tabletop games really were not known for their plastic figures. In fact, if you said to someone like, "Oh, this tabletop game has plastic figures," they'd be like, "Oh, no. Those are bad. Those are generally very bad."
Yeah.
And now the quality is up there with almost everything.
Yeah,
Although
no.
I do still prefer the wood, I have to say. I'm surprised.
I do too. Yeah. It's just more tactile. Like you play with the plastic bits and they're like they're a little pokey and they fall down. Like the
Sure.
wood just feels solid.
Yeah.
I don't mind, like I loved the mix of the first edition where you had like the plastic for the leaders and then the wood for like the more concrete pieces, like the workers that you're moving around or bidding with. That made sense to me. I liked that. But I don't know if we're gonna get that mix again here, or if they're just gonna go full plastic. And they do say everything will fit in the core box. So I'm hoping that core box isn't the size of a small Buick, but we'll see.
I think it's just easier for the plastic figures to sell on these kind of campaigns. Yeah. They're just so good looking, and
Yeah.
they look like they have such incredible detail. And 9 times out of 10, there's either a picture in color, or sometimes they go all out and actually color the plastic. And it's just like, oh, this is amazing. But like, yeah, the figures are not going to be like 6 inches tall, right? Because they're pictures on your screen. Like that's just not the way that they're going to look in the final campaign. No. So yeah, it's kind of a thing. We've talked about this a lot too. Remember we used to talk about like first player tokens being overproduced?
Yeah.
Remember those days?
I know, yeah. Oh, back in the day when that was the only thing that was overproduced.
Now they're like, what if the whole game was overproduced? And we were like, so like, all right, so this game is a little bit overproduced, but like how much are you gonna move or play with or touch the actual pieces that they need to be overproduced? Because again, there are certainly times where like having overproduced pieces works because they're so intricate to the game, but then that's rarely the case sometimes, right. Or like the game itself comes with like, money that costs like more than actual real money costs. And then you play the game and like you barely touch the money, or you just trade back and forth like $5 or $10. You're just like, why do I have all these coins? They're really expensive.
Oh man. Yeah. No, it's a good question.
But of course, as always, GameFound finds a way. So
oh yeah. Yeah, this will be expensive, I'm sure, but I don't know. It'll be good to see. And honestly, if nothing else, wait until people sell off their first edition copies. It's still a very good game.
Yeah.
Give it a show.
Well, if you follow the GameFound campaign, you get a free copy of the Stone and Blade expansion, Anthony.
Ooh.
So you better follow it, man.
I'm following now.
It's a free gift. I'm giving you a free gift.
I'm following it now. I think I was already following it, but
okay.
That expansion, by the way, it's like one piece. I don't think it's a lot of stuff, but it's a cool looking piece. It's like a dude with a dragon.
So. I know, dude with dragon is always a cool piece.
Dude with a dragon, looking good.
All right, everyone, that's everything that we're previewing this week. Now on to our feature review. So for our feature review this week, we want to talk about amazing games that just rode the line between genius and insanity, and somehow, some way, they made the right decision. So we're going to have a top 10 games that were saved by one brilliant mechanic. One thing about the game, sometimes it's art, to be honest with you. Every once in a while it's art. Yeah. Art kind of like saves the game. But again, this is an audio podcast, so I don't know if you're going to like listen to our descriptions of art or picture in your head art. So we're going to talk about mechanics. Yeah. And a lot of the great games that we still play often, if you really drill down to it, there's a reason why. And again, that reason is usually because the designer came up with like this brilliant idea that, in spite of everything else that was going on, actually works so well that we're still playing today.
Yeah, no, it is funny when you think about it. It's like when you reverse engineer it back and look at a really, really, really popular game and be like, yeah, but if they didn't do this one thing, it would
It's
have not
true.
worked at all. So that's cool.
Especially, Anthony, where mechanics are not, I guess you can't trademark them, right? They're available for other publishers to use and designers to use.
Yeah, it's some tricky, weird legal nonsense, but basically, like, how you use the components is kind of just like, hey, you thought of a new thing. Now everybody
Yeah.
else can use that thing. So
Yeah. So again, some of these mechanics you've seen previously, but they work here, and probably they were created here. So let's start off with our number 10, Anthony. Dominion. Now, Anthony, you know about Dominion. You've played Dominion. You own Dominion. You got a Dominion tattoo on your back. It's like huge. It's incredible, man. I love it.
oh yeah, it's like a Yakuza, but with cards.
Yeah, I mean, people would understand that. I mean, Dominion's like a big
It's
thing.
a card dragon. I'm sorry, I just had to clarify.
So the thing about Dominion, again, no one thinks about the art. Like, the art is not really a thing except for Anthony's back tattoo.
Yeah.
And the theming is not really a thing. Honestly, it's just not. I don't even know. How would you even describe the theme? Like,
medieval blah.
medieval blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have AI slop or medieval blah. So this went with
Yeah.
medieval blah back in the day when it was cool. So it's like generic medieval blah. So much so that when they came out with, I guess, technically the second edition, and it was a little fancier, it was still the same thing. Thematically. It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It was a little sharper, a little cleaner, but yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing about the game itself that everyone knows, so much so that, like, when you talk about deck building, and again, there's been a lot of other deck builders, of course, that's the mechanic. It's the whole game. Like, again, you're not there for anything else but the deck building. It makes the game itself. So again, theme doesn't matter, narrative doesn't matter, the spectacle of the game, except I guess the number of cards that actually you could put together based on all the different expansions. It really is, if nothing else, a game that is all about that mechanic. And if it didn't have it, if it was just generic, it would never, it would disappear entirely.
Yeah, like just a regular old card game, or if they like layered in other mechanics that early on, I don't think that would have worked either.
Sure.
Like, it had to be this pure and distilled, and it had to be this mechanic for this particular design to work.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I think it's because it was such a distilled single mechanic. Like, if there was something else there, like we talk about Clank, which is a deck builder, but also has other things to it. I think there's a time and place for Clank. Adding a little bit more to Dominion would have just popped. It would have just not worked.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, our number 9 is Mysterium. Now here, Anthony, you know this. I know this. I love this game. Do you still have a copy of Mysterium?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
So Mysterium, if you have not played it, Mysterium is Dixit. But what if Dixit was helping you solve a mystery, and in particular, murder, that you're given clues from ghosts? So the mechanic here is abstract clue giving through mystical, Dixit-like surreal art. And the game itself isn't really much more than that, right? Because again, you're playing cards. If you're like the DM, like you're the ghost, you're playing cards to your psychic investigators, which basically is kind of Dixit-like, where you just put the card out there and you're like, huh? Right? Do you see what I'm pointing to? The murder or the victim or the location? And they're like, I don't know. You put another card out there, you're like, But really, the artwork here is at another level from the original Dixit artwork. So what would be a very generic deduction game really kind of blows up because the artwork is so amazing and dynamic and beautiful throughout. So you never get bored with this game, even though you should technically, because it's a lot of the same thing, but the artwork really stands out here.
Yeah, it's a funny game where like you feel like it's this over-engineered social deduction thing, but like it has to be for the artwork to be centerpiece. It's like toothpicks stacked together to make the Eiffel Tower. Like, it works in the end. It looks like the Eiffel Tower, but you take one of the toothpicks out and it's like bleh, falls
and
over.
You feel really good. I mean, we've talked about Codenames previously. Like, Codenames is an interesting game because, like, when you're giving the clues, that's really the fun part. But when you play Mysterium and you're giving the clues, you're enjoying it because you have this big D&D board in front of you where all the different artwork, and you're in your head, you're trying to pick out the cards from your hand that match the artwork on the particular the victim, the location, all the other kind of stuff. But when the other psychic investigators are looking at the cards, they really get a kick out of it because like they're trying to see what particular elements of these cards kind of like come together. And there's so much to pull out of those cards, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, our number 8 is King of Tokyo. Again, the mechanic here, of course, King of the Hill. So risk obviously is high because when you jump into Tokyo, everyone on the outside could hit you. But also reward because when you jump into Tokyo, you're scoring points, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a fun one because I've often thought about this one where, like, if you didn't have the push-pull of points versus combat, the game wouldn't really work, right? It's either just Yahtzee with a lot of fancy artwork,
sure,
or it's chucking dice until somebody dies. But if you do both together,
yes,
you get that push-pull where, like, you have to press your luck constantly. Otherwise, someone maybe runs away with the points or you're dead, right? So it's just, I love that kind of balance. And it like makes almost immediate sense to people, children included. Like it's crazy, but yeah, it really works.
And it's funny too, because King of Tokyo is so much the Yahtzee mechanic, but no one talks about King of Tokyo in the same breath as Yahtzee. And it's because of that King of the Hill. Otherwise, you know, it would just, like you said, been a dice fest.
Yeah.
All right, number 7, Anthony, Root. The mechanic here, of course, radical faction asymmetry.
Yeah, this is funny because it's, you know, they didn't invent it. Like this is a coin game in all but name, but it just becomes a very basic, almost too basic area control game if you don't have that asymmetry, right? If you had 4 factions of cats, the game would be boring, right? And I march all my cats over and I fight your cats and my cats kind of win and now your cats are dead and you have to rebuild your sawmills and now you march your cats over here and you fight me. It's like, no, you got the vagabond running around in the woods and you got the Woodland Alliance like setting traps and blowing stuff up. The game only works because of the asymmetry. Like, I don't think there's anything there without that.
Anthony, you talk a lot about counterinsurgency games. You've played a lot of them. I play a lot of them. A lot of our listeners play a lot of them. Are we ready now to have a counterinsurgency? Have we played enough games to do that now?
Yeah, I think so. I know how this works.
How many games is it? How many coin games do you have to play to be able to lead a counterinsurgency?
3 to 5.
Okay.
And root counts, so we got at least 1 off the bat. So
your kids are ready to go, is what you're saying?
Maybe.
They've played this several times, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Long live the Woodland Alliance. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Anthony, number 6, the Mind. The mechanic here, Anthony, of course. No communication. Seems kind of like cheating here.
The mechanic is a lack of a mechanic. Yeah.
Mechanic is a lack of mechanic. I remember playing, what do you call it? Damn it. I'm blanking on the name. What's the game with the firework cards?
Oh, Hanabi.
Playing Hanabi for the first time and going, damn it, I should have just turned the cards the other way. That's the game. Damn it. Oh,
wait. I know. Like that simple, brilliant little stroke of like, what if I did this? Well, here's $1 million.
Time.
Here's $1 million, sir. That was clearly genius.
It's there the whole time. So Mind, the mechanic is no communication. Whoa. But somehow shared intuition.
Yeah. No, it's a fun. I mean, we've joked about the Mind in the past. It's not really a game; it's more of an experience.
Yes.
But at the right table with the right people in the right situation, it's a very fun experience. That doesn't work without this component, obviously. Otherwise, it's just I put a card down, you put a card down, let's put a card down, you put that card down. Yeah, that's great.
It's great. We did a thing. It's fine. It's so great because it's like some marketing genius who's like everything is something, or like a Seinfeld episode, right? This show's about nothing. They're like nothing. It's about nothing. You're just like, that's not a show. It's a show about nothing. Like it's a thing. So in this case, it's a thing, I guess. Number 5, Anthony, Pandemic. The mechanic, of course, is the pandemic mechanic. So much so, it became its own name. So you have an infection deck, escalation, and reshuffling. So again, your doom is in that deck. It's just a matter of when it finally overflows and kills you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to really focus on this because people will talk about Pandemic like it invented cooperative games. It did not. Co-op games existed before Pandemic. They just weren't super popular because they weren't as challenging, maybe they're like kid oriented,
Yeah.
or they didn't have like that tightness that Pandemic
Yeah.
does. Pandemic works specifically because of the infection deck, right? And the funny thing about that deck is sometimes it breaks the game.
It does.
Like the game can be 10 minutes long and you lose because of the way that deck works.
100%.
And then you just reset it and you try again, right? Um,
Yes.
but it that escalation, the natural escalation, the algorithmic flow, like if you listen to Leacock talk about how he designed this game,
Yeah.
and Leacock coming from a software background, it makes sense that that's how you would think about it. It's algorithmically builds over time, and there's a very fine balance and curve he tries to manage of it needs to be hard, it needs to push people, they need to feel tension, right up to the point where it becomes not fun and then backs off like half a step, right? And that's the brilliance, and that's the thing that makes cooperative games what they are today, is that every good cooperative game needs to have that finely balanced
Yes.
tightrope walk in the middle where you're always about to almost die and don't quite die, and then you feel that joy when you succeed. Pandemic kind of invented that, and that's the infection deck. So yeah, that mechanic, it's not just this game, it's like all co-op games need that.
True. All right, our number 4 here, Ticket to Ride. The mechanic, Anthony, is set collection tied to, this is the important part, spatial denial.
That's a way to word it. I love that.
Yes. You know, the spatial denial, that's a common word in our vernacular.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean in the context.
Well,
I've never heard it described that way, but yeah.
It's the kind way of saying, haha, I knew you wanted that spot, so therefore I took it because screw you, I guess, right? Like, I don't need it. Like, it's fine. And that's what you deal with when you play Ticket to Ride. It's yeah, haha, screw you kind of thing.
Yeah. My daughter got into Ticket to Ride over Christmas. We played a bunch of it, and I'm like, she's right on that line. Her, like, she just turned 11 recently, and I'm like,
no.
Okay, I could block that, but if I do, she's gonna get upset.
Yes.
She might cry, or she might not, or maybe she may throw something at me. I'm not really sure. We're in that middle space.
Jeez.
Be anger or sadness. But I also don't want to throw the game because, we're old enough now that we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like this finely balanced act of like, I know a lot more. I've played this game 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I shouldn't just stomp on my children. But also I need to show them that this is what happens because that's how you play the game. Let's just say it's been a contentious element. And yet she still keeps wanting to play. So I know it's okay. But yeah, you block each other. That's what you do. That's what Ticket to Ride is. If you're not blocking each other, you're playing it wrong.
I will say, though, I have played several, not just like friendly games of Ticket to Ride without like talking about it, where everyone just plays to get their tickets. Mm-hmm. And then you also play against AI, like on your phone. And like it plays a friendly game 90% of the time. And then you play with like real gamers. And then like you have to hide your intentions for so very long.
Right. You're like, you put a train over here, then you put one way over here, and you put one in the middle, and they're like, where are you going? You're like, you'll find out eventually.
It's like, I'm building here. No one realizes it. They're like, oh no, I see where you're going.
You go in there and you drop the Pittsburgh to Philly track just to block everybody in the Northeast. God. You're like, haha, I took the one in the middle. First turn. Bad. You guys suck.
All right. Our number 3, 7 Wonders. Anthony the Mechanic here, of course, simultaneous drafting.
Yeah.
Obviously not the first game that's done it, but obviously does it best or best known for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 7 Wonders popularized and like I dare say perfected this mechanic. Yes. Any game that uses this, you're like, oh, it's like 7 Wonders.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't even Bunny Kingdom. I'm like, oh, it's like 7 Wonders, but with bunnies on a map.
Yes.
Like that's what that game is. And yeah, it does so many things. It makes the game move quickly.
Yes.
Because everybody's always doing something. You can play basically the same game from 3 to 7 players.
Yes.
It doesn't really change. And you can interact with each other. You can hate draft. You can block people. You can oh, they're getting all the tech cards. I guess I need to draft this one or burn it for
Yes.
cash or whatever.
Military.
Military. Yeah. You have to pay attention to what everybody's doing all the time. And you stay engaged the whole game, which is great for a game that's actually relatively strategic because it feels like it's a lighter game than it is. And there's a lot there to do and keep track of. Or if you're new and don't really want to think about it, you just pick a card that looks cool and you play it and you're like, cool, I got no points. It's fine.
It's very true.
But I played the game because the rules are very simple.
And there's not a lot of simultaneous action games, if you think about it. Like, it's a hard mechanic to work out where everyone plays their thing at the same time, and it's not going to mess with things.
It is hard where there's still interaction, right?
Yes.
That's the key, because there's a lot of games with simultaneous action.
Like sure.
Yeah, like roll and writes are all like that. Between Two Cities is one I can think of that does that, but there aren't a lot, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's a drafting game too.
No, yeah, Between Two Cities is a lot like this.
Yeah, except you never want to have to count the points on that.
No.
Our number 2, Anthony, here is Azul. The mechanic, of course, drafting with forced overflow punishment. That's also another diplomatic legal way of saying you did the jerky thing and now I'm stuck with all the extra tiles.
Yeah, like you could have used these 5 blues.
Yes.
I don't need the 5 blues. Why'd you give me 5 blues? Because it gives you -5 points. That's why.
Yes. And it does all the damage because when you get those negative points, it's like -1, -1, -3, -5, -6. Like, oh no.
Yeah, that was bad. You're like, yeah, that's why I did it.
Even though, like, when you watch those tiles on the table, like in the middle, and you're trying to like count it out, like, well, if they take that one, and I take, oh no.
Yeah, or like you have all your stuff spread out, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't have a place to put those. Like, well, that was a poor decision, my friend. You should have done that. So, yeah, this game is like brutal, especially 2 players back and forth. This is another one that my daughter really likes, and we play a lot. And it's frequently there's been situations where she's like, but I can't take those without negative points. I'm like, yeah, I know. You got to plan better.
It's a thing. It's a bad thing. It's a bad vibe. All right, Anthony. And of course, the number 1 game here, Gloomhaven.
Ooh.
The mechanic, of course, is a card-based action selection with exhaustion, Anthony. The cards get exhausted. They're tired of being played.
Yeah. This, I mean, we talked about this for months when the game came out.
Oh, sure.
Of how Gloomhaven fixed the dungeon crawler.
No more dice.
No more dice. I love the idea of dungeon crawlers. It's like, in my brain, it's the thing I want to play the most. Like, video games does all the games I played for all the way high school, college, all the way through, right? And I was always kind of bored with them. I don't like, move a dude around on the map, roll some dice, pick up some treasure. I don't have, like, if I'm with the right group of people and we're goofing around, it can be fun. But like in a serious gaming setting or playing by myself or even just like one-on-one with one of my kids, it's just not very compelling. There's not a lot to do with it. Gloomhaven addresses that and takes a thing that makes a 3-hour game kind of boring at times, and they say, hey, now it's a little bit more like a Euro, and you have to manage your cards effectively, and there's this exhaustion mechanic, and we get rid of a lot of this randomness, and we kind of balance out the interaction between yourself and these different bad guys. It's just like, I'm not going to say it's a simple change because it's a very complex and significant change.
Sure.
But it's one change to that system, and all of a sudden it feels completely different.
Yes.
That's not to say you still can't get bored with the combat, because I think that happened to both of us. But
yes.
But it took a lot longer, like way longer than like Descent, which I was like, this game's great, but I can't play like 6 boxes of this. Gloomhaven, got 20, 30 games in, and I was like, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's that feeling that you actually have some sort of control, which is somewhat of an illusion, but you get to choose which top action versus which bottom action, and then obviously, if you take damage, cards get away. You could play certain cards that make other cards more challenging. You could purchase new cards, put in, so you really feel like you're participating. Yeah. Where the dice rolling is just, I'm waiting my turn for a random thing to happen.
Yeah.
And then some sort of modification to it. It's just like, no, I built this thing. These are my actions. This is this is characteristic of my particular character, and that feels good, right? Because, if you're a super powerful mage and you're just, rolling ones, it's not really feeling great.
No.
So, yeah. And again, Gloomhaven was, I don't know if we would say this, but like one of, if not the first, just gigantic game that was out there. And what a gamble by Isaac Childress here to put this gigantic game out with all the miniatures, all the boards, the incredible price point that it was at, especially back at the day. That was an insane amount of money. Not when you bought it, but afterwards. And then just like, this mechanic is going to make the game and make everyone buy it forever. Plus Frosthaven and all the other games that came from it, all based on this card-based action selection. Just incredible. What a amazing mechanic.
Yeah. No, you think back on it, because it's been a while. This game's been around for like almost 10 years now, or over 10 years now. It's astounding what it did, because we kind of take it for granted now. We make fun of it a little bit too, like, oh, it's 120 camp, it's too much.
Yeah,
but it was brilliant. It still is brilliant. And a lot of games have copied it, but most of them don't do it as well.
No, not even close. All right, well, there you go, everyone. The top 10 games saved by one brilliant mechanic. Hopefully you enjoyed the list. Hopefully you got these games to the table. Hopefully you'll take a look at your games and think more deeply about how they all came together, how they're particularly special, so you can share that with other people as well. These designers have done such an amazing, incredible job. And again, it's wonderful to kind of drill down deep and to recognize the brilliance of these games and how they stand apart, and how incredibly special they are, especially like we said, where mechanics can be used by anyone, anywhere, any place. And Anthony, this might be a list we kind of return to, because there's a lot of other games that just because of one mechanic just like own that game. Like, that game is amazing from that one thing.
Yeah, no, like we go through these, and these are a lot of like of our core games.
Yes,
but I can think of like a couple dozen more that like they live and die by a single mechanic. It's interesting to talk about.
All right, everyone. Until next week, this is Chris,
and this is Anthony,
and we'll save you all a seat at the table. Take care, everyone.
Hey there, Hugh from Poderation here, and if you like today's show, why not have a listen to the All Things Nintendo podcast? Hosted by Brian Shea, former director and Game Informer and lifelong games journalist, the show explores the ins and outs of gaming's oldest company and one of its biggest, featuring interviews, featuring reviews, featuring everything you want to know about the world of Nintendo. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website at poderation.com.